talking about. So why don't you share your story too?
Sure. So my daughter, her name is Joy. She was born at 23 weeks gestation back in 2012. And that was after a very life-threatening pregnancy. I had placenta precreta. I was hemorrhaging from 17 weeks on, and four really large hemorrhages requiring, units of blood, 30 units a couple of times and more. I had three little kids at home that were ages three boys, 3, 5, and 7 at the time. And that was a struggle. I mean, not only am I worrying about my pregnancy and losing my baby and my own life, but there's these three beautiful kids who, they didn't choose to have a sibling. It wasn't something they had asked for, and they have to live through all of it as well. And it was hard. I was in the hospital most of that 6 weeks, being transfused and hemorrhaging. And so then when my daughter was born at only 23 weeks, she weighed 1 pound and 4 ounces. Very tiny. She wasn't even as long as a ruler. She was 11 and 3/4 inches. It was excruciating. For me, I didn't wake up for a day and a half because of the complications from surgery. Her placenta grew through my scar tissue from my previous C-sections and attached to my bowels and my bladder, and they all had to be surgically separated and put back together, and hysterectomy, and then all kinds of blood. I was transfused for several days after, so I was in the surgical ICU. And when I finally woke up, my husband, of course, and our immediate family had gotten to see her in the NICU, and they had pictures on a cell phone, and they wanted to show me. And I guess it starts with the postpartum right there, not realizing I would not look at a picture of her. I refused to. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to see her on a phone. If I meet her, I meet her. And the doctors would come in and say, she won't thrive probably the night. Same thing the next night. You really need to look at her and see her. And I said, the first time I see her will be in person, like whatever way that is. She deserves me to meet her in person. And then it might not be the case for other parents, but that was for me. And it was Mother's Day. I got a little teased up when I finally got to see her on Mother's Day. And a night nurse was really, really kind to me and agreed to have her come in to sneak in to let me go and see her. She basically put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me down, snuck me like around the back corners. And I was able to go in there. And when I met her for the first time, I finally named her Joy, because it was the first time I smiled probably in 8 weeks or so. And yeah, and so that was the beginning of our story.